Oh boy, we got a great episode for you today. I'm real excited. Beep 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 beep. A Radio Stat Zero broadcast. Say, Rob, what's your opinion of a cold open?
Of a cold open?
Yeah.
I like it. Let's do it.
Okay. I was talking to my last guest. We were talking about like how it feels kind of weird when you're talking in the back room for a little bit,
Right.
and then you get online. You're like, hey, how you doing? How's it going?
Yeah, this is my first time talking to you. I didn't talk to you in the back room.
That's right. I'm never a fan of it. We value realism here at Zero Visibility.
I like it.
I like it. So, how you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. We were just chatting before.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, no, had a good day at work. Was
Yep.
teaching history, teaching art history. And I was looking forward to a little discussion with Stat Zero.
You know what? I'm excited about that. I've been not preparing questions all day because I feel like
Excellent.
just from that little bit I talked to you in the back room that this is probably going to flow just fine. So
Yeah,
I ripped
it
the
will.
cards up and I threw them out of the way. Real quick here, we got Amanda B in the net. Welcome to the nest, Amanda. Always great to see you. And Raven Saber, hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the nest. So, all right. For those of you who know, everybody knows. I think most of my audience is going to know Blood Realm, for goodness sake.
Oh, I hope so.
I could hope so. I've talked about it. You've talked about it. I think probably most of them have seen your channel. If not, guys, for the replay of value and for those in the chat, the links are in the description for both his channel, so you can watch some really great draw streams.
Oh, thank you.
I like to watch them when I can live and on replay as well, having them on the background while I draw myself.
Oh,
but also these comics right here over on the Alterna site.
They look good.
Yeah, they do look good. It's funny you should say that. So now a question I like to ask usually artists when they come in here, what your style, what pushed you into that? Like, you know, I've had people that, you know, they might say like something like, hey, I love Calvin and Hobbes, but I wanted to go in a different direction. I didn't want to just rip off Bill Watterson. So I go for something different, or just like, oh man, I love Frank Miller and I want to draw like Frank Miller. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what pushed you to draw the way you do?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I would have to say, number one, you mentioned Frank Miller. I have to say Frank Miller because mainly because I love that his art looked like his, and it was, you know, he didn't have to be the absolute master of art, and believe me, I think he is a phenomenal artist. But he wrote and he illustrated his own stuff, and I just like that. Like, I was very inspired by the sole creator kind of thing. It was his vision, and his art matched his vision. Same with the writing. So that's something that I really gravitated to. You know, was that. Now, naturally, I get guest artists who appear sometimes in my comic, but just the idea, you know, is just the single creator's vision.
Yeah,
that was big. And then style and art style wise, it took a while for me to find it. What's funny is that I always mention this. I was always sketching monsters since I was a kid, but I just thought, well, no one's going to want to read this stuff. No one's going to want to look at my monsters. You know, I was like, well, what should I draw? So what's popular? That's how my mind was back then.
Right.
And, you know, naturally so, you know, so I would not draw like this at all. It's like, you know, as much as I love doing my horror stuff, I felt I needed to do happy children's book stuff, which I do enjoy.
Right. Which you do have a children's book, yep.
I do, yeah. And that was before Blood Realm, you know? So, and then being exposed to I would say, European comic book artists like
Hmm.
Sergio Tappi, Mobius,
Yep.
Philip Julier, those guys,
Yep.
that's when I was like, oh, there's like real design and illustration in this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, I didn't know comics could be like this. As much as I love the superhero stuff, it's not something I really felt passionate to draw. Like
Oh yeah.
I tried it, you know. But there was one artist I will say that I really liked too was Leonardo Manco. He
Okay.
did oh goodness, he did Hellblazer for a
Yeah.
period,
Okay.
and that his art style kind of reminded me of Tappi's, Sergio Tappi
Okay.
and the European guys.
I feel like Vertigo, they skewed a little more towards like European style
Absolutely,
art across the
absolutely.
board, really. I mean, like, just if it wasn't like an artist that really was like European in their origins, whatever, it was, like Fables, they'd
Yes.
that kind of thing like crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. I agree. I agree. So yeah, no, that was really it. That was really it. Yeah, and
okay,
also not medieval fantasy, but medieval history. I
sure.
loved old medieval manuscripts. I love studying medieval period art, and I wanted Blood Realm itself to feel like it was ripped from history. In terms of its style, the way it's drawn, it makes it feel like you're reading some kind of illuminated manuscript.
It's funny you say that because as I was looking through the your issues again today,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't help but feel like, and of course this is before we talked in the back room a little bit, I couldn't help but feel like this was closer to a tapestry at times
Mm-hmm.
than like a comic, and I almost feel like that was intentional. It's not like a tapestry, like a light stained glass
Sure.
at different points.
Yeah.
Knowing what I do about you, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Without a doubt, there's certain panels, there's certain layouts that I was like, okay, this is going to have a very medieval tapestry vibe, stained glass window vibe. And then, obviously, depending on the tone of a story or the type of story I want to tell, some issues, have more panels, more traditional
Yep.
comic book storytelling. And then some have almost like that manuscript style.
Hmm.
So I feel that keeps it exciting for me, and I think that keeps it exciting for the reader and gives Blood Realm this whole different kind of
Yeah.
unique feel in a way.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. So how far ahead do you plot? Yeah, do you do like an arc at a time, or do you have like 50 issues worth of like ideas out, and then you just kind of like pluck and pull what you need when it's time to do an arc?
That's
How's your writing
exactly that.
style?
It's the
Okay.
latter. Yeah, I have
Okay.
it. I have it planned. I mean, I know where it's going to end. I know
Okay.
the route we need to take there. But sometimes I'll have a side story, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I can turn that and pull that into the main arc now. Like Wrath of Kings began as a
Hmm.
side story that I had wanted to explore, and it literally turned into, oh, now it could be part of the entire new miniseries.
It's going to be a tangent
Yeah,
after a little bit,
right.
like just go off over this way, and well, that's true. I suppose you take an idea and you leave it long enough, you'll be able to fit it in somewhere along the
Yep.
line in like a natural way.
Yep. Yeah, and that was the thing too. It's like, I wanted to tell a space action story, and I was like, well, why should I make a brand new comic series? So let me put that on the back burner and see when it's the right time to pull that and bring that into Blood Realm. And then it happened. That was the right moment.
I was going to ask about that. See, I mean, it kind of started out and you had something a little bit closer to like, say, like an older sword and sorcery kind of uh, uh, Elder Scrolls style
Mm-hmm.
situation, and then
Sure.
it sort of moved towards, gosh, I don't know what to compare it with, something like Dune, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or
Okay.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was wondering like exactly that. Like, what was it like, or Masters of the Universe, I suppose,
Mm-hmm.
in a more kiddie fashion, like taking that
Sure.
technology and like,
I grew up with that stuff, so it could be
right.
in
So,
there.
I mean, what were you always deciding to bring that in, or at one point did you just click and say like, you know what, I want spaceships and
Mm.
I want techno blade hands on goat people and I want all of it?
I mean, doesn't that sound awesome though?
It does. It is.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, no, it's true. I did want that in there, but I knew I was going into the future in Volume 3.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was when I originally pitched everything to Pete, I didn't really know how far into the future. I originally was like, yeah, just a couple of 100 years. And then what happened was, as I started to sketch, I was like, this doesn't really look that different. 100, 200 years, it's not that big of a deal.
You've just got
I need to
iPads. That's it.
I need to add another zero at the end of those numbers.
Right.
And then it became 2000. And then it was like a whole new playground here.
Mm.
And then it became so much more exciting. And then it made it more impactful for Chiron to appear in this almost alien world. Although it is his world, it's alien to him now.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have all this techno, machinations, all this crazy stuff going on here. And that was it. I was like, you know what? I have to do it. If I'm going to do it, though, this was a challenging thing. I have to go all in. You can't be like, just a little sci-fi stuff. And truth be told, I didn't really think it was going to be that challenging till I started. And as I'm sketching this out, I went, oh boy, I don't know what this looks like. What does Mordrin look like 2,000 years from where we're at? And then it was harder than I thought. You have to make the landscape feel similar, but it has to be different. So, you know what I mean? Like, it still needs to feel like Mordrin, but you also need it to feel sci-fi at the same time.
So how'd you go about that? Did you just dream it out? Did you look at a bunch of pre-production books or
pre-production
stuff like that?
books. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
pre-production books helped. And just H.R. Giger, right? Of
Sure.
course, Giger's art. Just trying to look at different sci-fi masters and kind of seeing how this could kind of translate within my own style
Mm-hmm.
and fit it all together. And then we ended up having Mordrin in the future.
That's the best kind of work where you just got a huge stack of books, art books, and you're just flipping through them, and then it's like,
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this? I don't know. What time is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, research is key.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm used to it because I studied art history,
Mm-hmm.
undergrad, masters. So
Yep.
I'm used to doing research. I'm used to spending like a year of research for a thesis. So maybe I always love the research part.
Oh yeah.
I love that stuff. That's like my
Especially when it comes to
favorite
art,
part.
yeah.
As opposed to actually making it. I actually like the research more.
Yeah,
So
that's I'm very much the same way when I'm working on something. It's like the layouts, the notes for the script, and stuff like that's my favorite part. And then you have to get down into it. You're like, oh shoot, this is
going to be work now.
Exactly. It's all
now
fun
I
when
have
you're
to
scribbling.
draw it.
Yeah, exactly. So now let me ask you this: you're an art teacher, and
Yes.
listening to your episodes and stuff like that, you used to talk a lot about painting at times like that. So aside from Caravaggio,
Mm-hmm.
like what are your go-tos in terms of like what really like those guys that inspire you?
In any period, or you mean
Any period, doesn't matter. Yep.
Ooh, wow. Instead of Caravaggio, I would say, ooh, wow, that's a good one, my friend. Well, I have to say, without a doubt, I mean, Michelangelo.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to not be inspired by what he did because his dedication, his passion. Bernini would probably be second. There's things that the sculptor Bernini did in marble that, in my opinion, defies human ability. It's just, in fact, it's just so remarkable and feels so beyond what humans can do that it's beautiful because a human made it without technology that we have.
I was going to say we could 3D print that now, no problem.
Exactly, we can 3D print it. So I would say Bernini. I'm always so deeply moved when I see his work.
Mm-hmm.
And Rome, man, anything pulled from ancient Rome is just something that fires me up to no end.
Italian and Roman guy, huh?
Yeah, I just love it. I do love in terms of historical figures. There's one figure I never get tired of researching and reading about. It's Alexander the Great.
Sure.
I just, again, what he did in conquering form as opposed to art also feels superhuman.
Mm-hmm.
And So yeah, that's the stuff. And there's other artists too, but if I had to pick right now, I would say Bernini would be number two.
Okay.
It's
Is that something you'll just kind of? Do you have like books of his? You just pull them out, flip through them.
I have some stuff. Raphael's. I have a sketchbook. It's like they're cheap. You can get them from.
Yeah.
I think it's Dover Publishing
Mm-hmm.
or something, like $5-8. You can get the little printed versions of all his sketches. I believe every comic artist should have a book of Raphael's sketches and just copy them.
Got
Just
to be
look at
public
them.
domain by now.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, no, that would be. Yeah, I would say that would be a
So
good group.
that's. Would you say you look at that stuff for like general, or like when you're kind of stuck in your blood realm work?
And when I'm in my blood realm work, I like to look at, depending on the stuff. I love to look at medieval architecture,
Okay.
medieval art. I would say another artist would be probably Giotto. Giotto would be another artist,
Mm.
early Renaissance. I also love medieval abstraction, which is what I like to do with my art because, I could draw. Drawing a hand is cool. Drawing people are cool, but I don't know when I can just abstract things, elongate things a little bit. I always found that fascinating about medieval art. Because
Oh yeah.
they had this whole thing that, well, we can't make it like it actually is because then we are we are disobeying and being rude to God, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to stylize things a little bit, and this makes it okay. And they come up with their own abstract, weird look. And but in my opinion, it's so captivating.
Is that why it was? I thought it was just like I really like people with baby faces that are totally full adults.
That's the thing. Well, they tried to go back and not draw. Isn't that funny how the babies look in art? It's always so weird. It's not until like Raphael where all of a sudden you start to see, oh, that's a chunky baby. Okay.
Yeah.
That looks like a normal little chunky baby. Okay. I would say Da Vinci is one who kind of brought it back a little bit, where it's like, that looks like a kid.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you look at some of these artists, amazing artists. I mean, you look at like Jim Lee or like some of the more contemporary, like really popular ones, and a lot of them learned from the George Bridgman book.
Oh yes, I have a George Bridgman book without a doubt. The
But nobody actually draws that chiseled fat sort of way. Like they all just kind of learn how to use make it look like a machine. But
yeah,
Bridgman,
yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, Bridgman was great. I have those on on standby. Yeah, and also I also loved my Savage Sword of Kull. That was it. I love the Kull comics from the 70s and the 80s. I have those. If I need reference for anything, that's the go-to. Unfortunately, the artists escape me because there's so many of them. It was never the same artist for every miniseries sometimes.
Right.
I think it's all Chuck Dixon who wrote this particular one, ironically.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that one I just absolutely love. The black and white, that black and white line work.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous.
I feel like that's more of an artist thing, the black and white stuff, like the old like Showcase or Essentials. You get those things, and if you're an artist, you're pouring through those and looking at the inking. And if you're a regular person, it's like, why did I buy a coloring book for $20? The 500-page coloring book. I've seen so many of those reviews. I'm like, you fool, just appreciate the art.
That's absurd. That's absurd. I have one of those. Another go-to on standby is Simonson's Alien.
Oh yeah.
I
haven't seen that yet. I heard it's great.
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Has the coffee stains, everything.
Oh, it's like the artist edition almost, kind of?
The artist edition. The only artist edition I bought. I had to have that of his original art. So I bought that.
Beautiful.
And yeah. There's another guy here. It's called the Chronicles of the Moon, of the Black Moon, Dark Moon. That's another great one. It's a French comic. And
I was going to say, that sounds like a Euro book.
Yeah,
right
it is.
There.
Yeah, I have a lot of that. I have like 10 books of Toppi, Sergio Toppi, the Italian
comic. Is it
not
translated, or is it translated?
Mine are not translated. So I can read French okay, but not as great as I used to. So yeah, but the artwork is just insane.
You're one step ahead of the game. I find it brings me to tears when I go on like Amazon and you see all these beautiful freaking books, and it's just like Spanish version, French version, Nordic version. Good luck.
Yeah. Like, oh. for me, it's like, at least I could just pour over the art. At least if I can't fully understand the stories.
That would be me. From what I'm listening to Michael Bancroft, he talks about going to France and they got like, what is it, like it's like 30 or 40% of all books sold are graphic novels.
Oh yeah, no,
You go in there and it's just monstrous collection, beautiful hardcover, like deluxe
they're
versions.
stunning. They're stunning. It's crazy. A friend of mine, he had a book. This was years ago. He went there to there's a very big famous French comic art festival,
Mm-hmm.
and if you go and get your book signed, you don't just sign it, right? They expect you to draw in it. It's crazy, like they would look at you if you just signed it. They would be like, "Are you serious? You're supposed to draw a little something."
That's part of your signature. That sketch.
Yeah, exactly. There is such a beautiful respect in comic books for comic books. When I've been to Italy, France, I've been told many times is like big, and I just don't understand. It's such a shame because they have these magnificent illustrated books with such incredibly talented artists, and the comics code really hit and hurt the industry here so bad.
Yeah, it did.
Really did, because they didn't have that.
We used to have such like variety before that happened. War books, romance books, horror books, all of it. And then I think superheroes was the only thing that really survived.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and Archie too.
Archie, yeah. I mean, that big label there just, what had happened? Comic art in other countries was allowed to grow, and it was allowed to mature. And by slapping that label on your comic book, reinforce that adults can't enjoy this. This is just for kids. We have to keep it as such. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, in Japan, I mean, you have men on trains in suits and kids on their way to work, all reading, I don't know, One Punch Man or whatever manga they're reading. It just doesn't matter. You grab your manga and you read it, no matter what age.
They build it to order there. That's exactly what it's made for. It's like those small books are made to stick in a box. I mean, like,
that's it.
I don't know that they have, I feel like it's more of like a beautiful, like in Europe, like a conversation piece or like something that can go in a study, and you can like make it look nice and whatnot. Like,
it reminds me of the pulps from the 30s, with the way it is there. You got to get your manga, got to read your manga. We got to go to work. Well, I need something to read on the train. Well, I got to read my manga. And
I suppose that's sort of a meritocracy too. Like the really popular ones are the ones that get the beautiful hardcover treatment, collection, nicer paper. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Pitch it in the garbage and get another guy on there. Or let this person try another book or something like that. Like,
yeah, I know.
Over here, you just gotta beg just to have someone look at your cover.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a whole. I mean, Pete's talked about it many times about the industry itself was really its own worst enemy. It's a shame, but that's why we're trying to elevate it.
It doesn't help that I think dang near every comic book company is like owned by some much bigger corporation that really couldn't give a crap. I think we're much better as publishers because, when people aren't buying, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. But if people aren't buying when it comes to a big corporation, well, we got our IPs taken care of at least. I mean, so we can continue to use those for lunch boxes and pajamas, and toys, and novelizations, and movies, and TV, and Hey, Paul, welcome to the Nest. Lots of good black and white pulp hero books coming out in the indie scene. Discovered Judix today. Exciting times.
Oh, I don't know Judix.
Judix. You and me both.
Interesting.
Wow. Well, cool. What was I gonna say? I had something written down. Like, so we got the plot thing, get the children book. How far along have you like plotted as far as like what are you working on right now? That's 13, 14?
I am working on 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Is that 6? How many? 30, 40, 50?
Oh, is it a 5-issue arc?
18. 6 issues.
6 issues.
It's a biggie.
Sweet.
This is a biggie. It's the biggest. This is the absolute biggest volume. I have to say, in my opinion, my humble opinion, this is going to be the most epic volume. If I pull this off right, which I believe I will, because I've done my research and we talked about how important research is.
Absolutely.
I believe this could be, end up being my best work.
You think
between the guest artists I have coming on, the writing. I feel like I've learned a lot about myself as a creator
Sure.
over these years. And
oh yeah,
this one is going to be. I couldn't be more excited for everyone to read this. Really.
it's just that pesky getting it done and waiting. I
Yes,
think
that's what it is. Exactly. Exactly.
That's really exciting. What do you think you're ever going to collect it all into one omnibus, or are you going to like maybe do like like a volume 1 and have like 6-8 issues, volume 2 6-8 issues or something?
I'd like to do the omnibus, but depending how long this gets, we have to see. I would love to do the omnibus, but it looks like maybe a lot of people have been requesting lately for trade collections, because now, as we saw here, the Alterna Giants are going to slowly go out of print. So, like volume
Right.
1, I believe he doesn't have any left, if I'm not mistaken. I think those are gone.
Right.
So those are out. You can't even get those anymore.
Yeah, volume 1 out of stock.
It says that. Oh, there you go. So yeah, he was right.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're gone. So I'm gonna.
But they're all
have
still
to
here.
Do something. Yeah. You still have. You can have the reprints of the miniseries, but like the collection of those Giants. I don't even know if he's going to do Giants anymore. So we'll have to see. So I may, if it comes to that, and enough people ask, I could do a little crowdfunder for a really nice collection. I don't know if 1 and 2 should be in one. Like maybe should it, or should it all be? I'm not sure. I have to think about it. It has to be really thought out.
You could kind of do what Pete's doing with his boxes, and you have like a graphic that goes along the spine or something like that, and every collection you have comes out, you'll get more of that graphic kind of like filling in.
That's true.
Maybe like a Iron Wolves icon or something like that goes through or something. I don't know.
That would be
and then
nice.
When it's all together, it looks nice on the shelf.
Yeah.
Not unlike an omnibus.
That could be really good. I'm going to have to, I like that idea. So I have to think about it. I got to feel it out with everybody.
I think you got a ways to go before multi-volume situation happens, but we'll all be here for it. So
thank you.
Of course. So do you plan on doing more Indiegogo or is that?
I'll probably do that. Right now, that's the best way for me. I'm going to do a campaign for the next volume.
Okay.
The good thing is that I finished issue 13 and 14. I just finished the cover for 14 just 2 days ago. So that's done. Christian Rossi is going to be illustrating. He's doing 15, and I'm getting him to see if he can do. Looks like we're all ready to go. He could do 16.
Dang, that dude does good work.
Yeah, so I want him to, because the whole thing is that we're following the rise and the life of Chiron Morville. So I'm doing the first stage, and then Christian is going to be doing the second, and then Keir Covington is going to be doing the third. So they're all working right now. All of them are working, and they're doing crazy work. If you haven't seen some of the stuff they're teasing, the stuff is crazy.
Yeah, I don't like being teased. I want it right now. I don't appreciate it one bit.
I want it too. Don't kid yourself. I want it too.
One thing I appreciate about you is you're not like stapled into a shared universe. Like I know I'm not going to open up Blood Realm and be like, oh, what's Wirehead doing here?
No.
Is that the kid? Is that the character from his kid's book?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's okay to have references, but like then it starts to feel too diluted and just a little, you could have a little hint of things, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. I'm telling him. I'm not sure what I'm telling him, but I'll do it. I'll even do it.
Oh man.
That's looking through this again. I remember, so I read the first one, and I'll be honest, I was like, where is this going? What's going on? And then I got the second one, and then I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get it.
I felt the same way, if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, the third one, I'm like, holy crap, he's bringing characters back. That was a really cool, like how he tied that in. I'm a big fan of that. And then, when I started getting the single issues and stuff like that, now, for anybody that hasn't tried this series, like it really, he's done his work as far as like weaving things in and not having just like a to B to C to D kind
Mm-hmm.
of, because that's always one thing that I see. I think in more so in newer movies now than anything, or storytelling, is it just like there's opposition but not conflict.
Oh yeah,
So
it's
you go
boring.
in there and it's like everyone says, "Oh, there's no conflict in this movie." So, well, excuse me, 4 guys attacked my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he dispatched them all like nothing. Yeah, but they
Oh
still,
no.
that's conflict. See, that's how they.
I hate that. I hate that stuff. No, that there needs to be rules in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That even I, the creator, needs to follow those rules. Like
Right.
I'm not even above the rules of Blood Realm. You know what I mean? No
Sure.
matter what, the rules have to apply, and I have to maintain those rules because the second I break those rules and it doesn't make sense, the reader's going to be like, "Oh, come on, what
Yeah.
happened? What happened?" Then the reader starts to be like, "Are you even paying attention to your own thing?"
Right.
And look, there's a lot to keep track of, but I have like books, little sketchbooks with all art. This person's related to this one. Keep this one. A line for this one's deceased.
So have you gone through and like pulled a token and like created an entire history to kind of like drawn a timeline of history to like go
Oh
back and
yes, I
forth
have a
from?
whole thing, beginning to end, what the ages are called, each periods are
Okay.
called. You have to. If you're going to do something this grand, you need to
Mm-hmm.
lay that out. Now, I don't have everything perfectly, like intricately
Oh, you wouldn't need
detailed,
to do that. No.
right? Because also what happens if I do that, then there's not going to be much experimentation. Sometimes when I'm
Yeah.
writing a story, I'd be like, "Oh, now that thing that I knew needed to happen, here's how it will play out from the
Mm-hmm.
past." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just you want to leave the breathing room. There's a balancing act.
Right. Right. So you don't want to just be like, well, I set up my rules and now I can't violate them because I told my
Right, right.
past self told me future self I can't do that.
Exactly. Exactly. It's I can't wait. I just can't wait. This new
Oh, you
one
and me both.
is this one's a beast.
Where are you? You said you're right in the middle of issue
Finish
13?
14.
Finish 14.
13's done. 14's done. My
Really?
my stuff has been done. Now I've just been working with Christian,
Mm-hmm.
writing, writing everything out, working on the scripts for those.
Huh.
He's already drawing everything. He's halfway done, a little more than halfway done with 15. So he's going to be done soon.
Mm.
Artwork looks incredible. Moving, this is again, this is the forming of the Iron Wolves. This is Chiron Morvel going from essentially human slave, because this is when the humans were slaves,
Mm-hmm.
to what we see him as in Volume 3. That was challenging too, because there's so much buildup with his character. People seem to be gravitating to this character. I couldn't just give him some silly old backstory. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It needs to be as grand as he appears, as
Mm-hmm.
epic as he appears, and how he feels.
Well, yeah, after
It's,
spending the first 2 volumes kind of building him up, like in
yeah,
whispers and stuff, I appreciated that. I really
exactly.
liked that a lot.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm
You
glad.
get
Yeah.
like the reputation, and then you get to meet the man instead of the opposite, which you see so much. Like, here I
Yeah. Just
am.
there
Who?
you go. And I can do anything.
That's exactly.
They're like, I don't know about that. No, it's true. Because believe me, I wanted to have him in there so early. I was like, oh god, I gotta be patient. Volume 3, they're gonna see him. Volume 3, they're finally gonna see him. So yeah. What did Paul say? Paul say, good to have those big jumps in time. Gives you that free room to slip in stories that come to you later. 100%. 100%. Oh man.
Well, there I'm back. Okay, I was getting like the wheels of death right now. We had a storm rolling through here.
Oh, were you really? Oh, did the people
Yeah.
were the people
So
able
I
to
was
hear
like,
me?
yep, you were reading Paul, and I'm sitting there like, where the heck is Paul? How come I don't see Paul? It's my show. This isn't fair.
I'm the
But yeah,
captain now.
yeah, this is what he was talking about. Just good to have those big jumps in time, give you that free room to slip in the stories that come. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, you have to know, as crazy it is when you're working on, as I'm learning, as you work on a big epic like this, it's very much like a symphony. And I don't mean that in a pretentious way. I mean, you have the soft moments, the bombastic moments, It's literally just you're a maestro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now here, now this, and now loud here, and you
Yeah.
got to know when you look at your story as a whole, when is it okay to go boom? When is it okay to go soft? It's a gigantic piece of music in a way.
Absolutely.
And
So,
yeah, you got to be
are you
cautious.
a movie or a music guy when you're working?
When I'm working,
Yeah.
I used to watch movies a lot. Now, not so much.
I know Pete likes his 80s cartoons.
Yes, no, of course. Well, I mean, Thundercats. How could you not? I understand. And
Right.
Real Ghostbusters. I know those
Oh
are two
yeah.
of his favorites. Uh, I have mostly. What do I have on in the background? It's mostly music.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly music or history podcasts.
Okay.
Even just sometimes it's old, like nostalgic retrospectives of games and
Yeah.
movies that I liked back in the day.
Mm.
Sometimes that stuff, because that's the stuff that got me inspired to make art from the in the beginning when I was young. Is
Yeah.
certain films and certain games when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have that in the background, but yeah, I used to have the TV on for movies a lot. I don't do that as much.
I almost pegged you for like an orchestra type
I
guy.
do
Like keep
love.
that on and like to get the scene, the page, like the feel of the page kind of thing.
Oh, that's on too.
Score
Not
your own stuff.
depending on the scene
Mm-hmm.
that I'm drawing and what kind of inspiration I need. I'll have a whole soundtrack of a film: Gladiator,
Oh yeah.
Last Mohicans, uh, Lord of the Rings. No, I'm a big soundtrack guy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a big movie soundtrack guy.
You still CDs or you digital?
I have my CDs, but unfortunately, my CD player busted a long time ago. Stopped working. Yeah. So I just play it from YouTube or something like that.
I've been getting into CDs more lately just because I really like not having the commercial interruption.
Oh, it's
Nothing
annoying.
worse. You find yourself right in like the zone and you're getting
all
going,
the
and
time.
all of a sudden it's just like,
oh yeah,
bing, bing, bing. Hey, do you want to buy this? And you're like, no, skip it. Where's the
and
skip
you
button?
can't.
And you can't. And then there's another one that you got to wait 5 seconds to skip. It just pulls you right out of it.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I hear you. But yep. But that's the stuff I like to listen to. That's the go-to stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you have it loud or do you kind of headphones?
Not too. No, I have it just medium. Nothing too loud.
Headbanging to Tchaikovsky. You're like, yeah.
I do like listening to that. What when I'm in the car, traffic on the BQE. Da, 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 da. I have that blasting, and I'm just like,
nice. That's not a bad time to be thinking about your stuff like that when you're
always
in the car.
Is always thinking. Could be. Yeah, sometimes depending on what hour, could be an hour and a half, depending what
traffic,
time it is.
Protesters.
Traffic and protesters. Yeah. But also, I've been really, really spending a lot of time learning Italian more than I ever did before, and practicing. And so I listen to a lot of podcasts in Italian.
Okay.
I learned to.
Is that for when you go back?
When I go, yes, of course. And just I don't know. It's cool learning a language that comes from something ancient. Comes from Latin. So, and then because one day I would like to get into a little Latin at one point.
How many times you been over there?
To Italy? Rome, I've been there 3 twice, 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Hot dang.
It's great.
My wife's probably. I'm glad she's not here because she'd be shaking her head at me because I'm one of those like serial Hobbit homebody type people. Like going 2 hours to the cities. That's too dang long. That's too far. That's a bridge too far. I can't do it. How about an hour? No, that sounds really long. The next town over? I don't know about that.
Well, you know what's funny? I do not like driving that long. But
really,
on a plane, I'll chill out. Out. I'll relax. I'll read. Close my eyes. I don't have to drive.
That's true.
I don't have to drive.
That's true.
But a 2-hour drive to, say, maybe 3-hour drive to Connecticut from here, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. That's too long. But I'll sit on a plane for 8 hours, chill out. No. I purposely bought a Switch just for my rides. I don't really get to play as often, but like when I'm on the plane, I'll put on some Doom, Quake.
Oh, that's what you're nice. Those are good choices. Takes me back.
And what's even better is that you could play them in Italian, which is hilarious. So like really get in the mood. Yeah, you can play them in Italian.
You play Doom in Italian, huh?
Yes, you can. You can.
That's pretty. My wife, she recently went to Africa for a mission, and it was like a 21-hour flight.
Wow, total. Good for her. Good for
her. First time down, she was like surrounded by like I think a group of gay porn stars, really loud ones too. So
what on the plane?
Yeah, it's just like a group of them traveling, like to Europe. So they were like really, really loud. Really like
were they performing on the plane? Is that why they were loud?
No. It's just like ha 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 ha, real loud, just like so she was just like, yeah.
I don't know, but oh my god,
I couldn't get any sleep. They were always yelling and talking and laughing and stuff like that. So I was like, oh no.
And she knew that's what their profession was.
She probably heard some chatter from them, because they're conversing very, very loudly. I guess the trip back wasn't too bad. She had to have like a layover in like Amsterdam, I think. And then from there she went to I think Kenya. Was it Kenya? I want to say.
Yes, probably. Yeah.
Nairobi or Kenya. Nairobi? That sounds right.
Okay. Very nice. So, wow, good for her. That's wonderful that you did work like that.
Yeah, I never would have survived. Probably not, no. I'd be sitting there thinking, like, our house is probably completely flooded. Maybe somebody, like, robbed us. Something. I wonder what's going on. Are the chickens okay? They're probably dead.
You have chickens?
We had 9 chickens, yep.
Good for you. That's awesome.
My wife's she's absolutely obsessed with, like, she just made, like, 17 jars of salsa.
Oh, wow.
Pizza sauce. She made homemade pizza sauce, and, like the chickens are for eggs. She uses the rest of the droppings to like make this big beautiful garden. She is awesome at that stuff.
Wow, that's great. That's great. No, that's you have autonomy when you're able to grow things. It's really important. It's really important. Oh, I'm getting called out by Revan. You'll sit on a plane for 8 hours, but you won't come to a comic show in North Carolina. I see where we stand now.
Oh no.
We'll work something out one day, Revan. We'll work something out.
Oh, he put it on there twice.
He did.
Okay.
He wanted me to see it just in case. Citizen Roman. Look at this. Citizen Roman. Don't like driving? That's un-American.
You gotta give Rob some credit. He's got his face all up on here. And I mean, here I am, just there. And here he is, just right there. See, I mean, you got to give him some credit.
There you go.
He's not pretending to be a bird, a small woodland animal. That's Rob Geronimo.
That's me.
Teacher guy, blood realm guy, weary traveler.
Yes, travelers, greetings. That's the longest plane ride I've ever been on was, let's see, to China.
Really? How long was that?
17 to 18. That was long. Oh. That was long. I won't do that again. I couldn't do it again.
What'd you do there?
I studied abroad there.
Yeah, who was she? Kidding.
Don't get me in trouble now.
No, that's probably the dirtiest joke I've ever told on this channel.
Really? It wasn't what your wife saw on the plane?
No, that wasn't a joke. That was stone cold.
Right.
No. We usually try to keep it. At least we try here to. I say we when it's not just me. I try to rival Pete for family friendly. I feel like I've got like a leg up on him because a couple guests he's had have not been able to stop swearing. But
yes, I'm sure.
It's always funny to see Pete like, hey, and then all of a sudden, forget it. Let's go. It's fine.
Right.
Oh, yeah. How long have you now? When did the first Blood Realm come out now? Because I don't think I was aware of Alterna at that point.
I think it was 2018, the end of 2018 or the end of I think it was December 2017, maybe.
Wow. Really?
I think. Do
you imagine you were going to go this far?
No.
You didn't think so? When you think you're going to cut out? Like,
I thought it was going to be over at Volume 1, and it was it. And then I had ideas.
Sure.
But The reason I chose to go with Pete is because he was the only one who said, "There's more to this world, right? Like you're not just going to tell this one thing. Like
Right.
there is more to it, right?" And I was like, "Wow, he's the only one who asked me, are there going to be more stories in this universe?" Everyone else was like, "Great, we'll put this out as just one graphic novel, and great, it would be a one shot."
Mm.
And
Yeah, that'd be
then
a horrible waste.
yeah, and he was like, "You're gonna tell more in this universe, right? Just want to make sure." And I said, "Yes."
That's the right answer, correct? Oh, Pete's really good about that, like sniffing out story,
Oh,
like
he's
where there's. I mean, like
unbelievable.
if it weren't for him, Trespasser would have been one issue.
Yeah,
What I understand, and
exactly.
that was a heck of a story that would never
Uh,
have existed if Pete hadn't said like, "Hey,
True
I want
publisher.
more of that."
He's a real publisher
Hmm.
through and through, and he's got a real eye for storytelling, talent, and how to help elevate your stuff. Because let's be honest. As creators, we're so deep in our stuff.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's hard, even if just to step back 5 feet. You know what I mean? It's still not far enough. But he can see from that distance. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey,
Thank you for
Jeremy, welcome
joining.
to the nest. Yeah.
He helps. He's like, no, you should go here. You should do this. Is my little recommendation and all that. And then you'd be like, oh, I see that. Okay, got
Hmm.
it.
I
I'll
mean, you
go
could
there.
fight him.
But then I won't have a
Certainly could do
publisher
that.
status.
That's true. That's true. I
I
mean,
don't want his
this is like
job.
a fork in the road situation. Do I take it into consideration, or do I tell him, screw you, I'm the author of Blood Realm?
Yeah, come on. Everyone knows me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, I've been, since I discovered it. Well, the first time I found Alternative was like, I grabbed a couple of. It came out on Wednesdays just to see what it was all about, and then after that, I think I spent the next order was like $70 or
Yeah.
something. I
Oh
bought up
wow.
most of the catalog, and but I like that. Not only you guys like put some good stories out there that are hard to like compare to other things. I know, like
Hmm.
I like how Pete like chooses stuff and finds things like you can't just say, oh, so it's Batman, but underwater, sort of thing. Like
Oh.
it's very very different. But I mean, like the price point, the variety. I've been a big fan of what you guys have been doing for a long long time, and I just don't know how. Certainly not from my accounts and stuff to boost the signal anymore, because
Yeah.
it's the kind of thing I read this and I say, this is what everybody's asking for. This is what everybody wants. When you listen to them, like, I want something different. I want this and this, and you say, well, here it is. It's Alterna,
Yeah.
and it's always a point of confusion to hear them go, yeah,
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
eh. It's
It's
like I could
crazy.
point you 3 different posts where you say, I want, I don't know, like a medieval book. Look,
Mm-hmm.
Blood Realm. It's a medieval book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me what you want.
Yeah. People don't know what they want anymore.
No, it's true, and it's I was thinking about this today. Maybe it's because I was a little in a bad mood or jaded or something like that. But like, it seems harder than ever with the attention span being as low as it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's affecting everything. To be
Mm-hmm.
perfectly honest,
And, and
that's really affecting everything.
and it's almost feeling like people are, if you don't just get into this to build a skill, to have something to occupy your time,
Mm-hmm.
and most entertainment now is like empty calories. Like, you'll
Yes.
eat it and you'll forget it, and then you'll be like, what's next? Or if the filmmaker you really like has, or comic book person, whatever music person has a dud, well, they're gone. They're just off the list. We find
Yeah.
somebody else. What else you got? Nothing. Well, I'm going
That's
to
right.
sell my stuff. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
it's true.
understand that mentality.
No, it's a shame. A lot of artists are not allowed to grow, and at least certainly not in the mainstream. That's out. I
Mm.
don't see that happening really now. We expect artists to already be at their pinnacle. Even these young
Yeah.
guys coming in, and it's like, dude, like you look at artists from the past, and you look at like even like a modern artist like Rothko. He didn't
Hmm.
make his masterworks that he was known for till he was 40. You know, like no
Hmm.
one
Yeah.
really cared to know who Rothko was till finally he was 40 somewhat years old, where he made the Rothko style. It's
That's
like
absolutely true.
there's the journey of the artist that needs to take place, and sometimes you got to go on that journey with the artist.
Yep, give them a reason to draw.
Yes, exactly, to
Yep,
improve, to get better, to pump up, and because
right.
it's you're going on this journey with him.
I mean, I'm sure most of the artists will look back and say, "Yeah, that stuff sucked," but
Oh yeah.
versus where they are now, or some of them might be a little more diplomatic and say, "Well, I was learning, for goodness sake." But
Yes. Yes.
I do believe that you're right, that tolerance for learning and kind of getting into it, putting in that time investment is probably linked up to like the attention span that's not there anymore. Like,
Yeah, and it goes both ways. Kids, students, people have a hard time realizing that you want to get really good at something. It's going to take time. It's going to
yeah,
take time, dedication, blood, sweat, and tears. It's hard. It's so easy to see a little time lapse of a video and think, oh, he did that in 30 seconds. I can do that.
and then you
And
try.
then you do it. And you're just like, this is hard.
I think that's also like a symptom. I mean, if you control Z enough, almost anybody in like a Procreate or
Oh,
a
yeah.
clip, they can do a painting that can rival like Rembrandt with enough time and control Z's, right? Now, it's not
It's
working.
true.
Cut that out. Put it back. It's not real. It'll never be
No.
real. I mean, you could print it out, sign it, have that one printed out, whatever. But it's try to actually mix the paints yourself, or
Yep.
like use that color theory with
Oh,
like it's
yeah.
easy to slide it on a a color wheel and
Simple.
go,
Any color you want at
yeah,
your
I
at your
like that color.
fingertips. At your
And I think
fingertips.
that definitely, as far as art goes, I talked about this before on my stream. Like, you have so many artists that are really good at anatomy where they can have something standing there, somebody just standing there, and you see it all the time when somebody's sketching. It's just like almost like a turnaround kind of thing or something, just standing there. But I mean, to really have them moving, put life in, like swinging
Yeah.
the sword, like getting kicked off the horse or something like that. It's a really hard thing to be able to do from a couple angles, and most people are not.
Oh.
I think that's where artists, the serious ones, can really prove themselves, because it's like you have a million people that can have somebody sitting on a chair with some nice light and photoshopped and it looks beautiful, but it takes a whole lot more to be able to draw that from 3 different angles.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. And have it consistent. Oh, absolutely. You getting some storm there too?
Yeah, you heard that? Did you hear that on the thing?
Yeah, I did. I just had some thunder and stuff earlier.
Right now, it looks like the sun has just been swallowed by night. There is literally no. I can't believe it. It looks like it's 10 p.m. right now outside.
Wow,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
But I don't know that there's. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I'm not sure if there's a remedy to that, in terms of like
to the storm or to what we're talking about.
Yeah, to the storm. No, you can't stop it. Just get out of the duck and cover. No, to that, like, the attention span that seems to be getting worse and worse for people. Like,
yeah, no, it's.
I don't want to say. I know comics will never go away, ever. It's just too dang easy to draw a picture and then put, some words to it. But I have to wonder, like, I'm sure there's going to be some point where something happens where it seems cool. I mean, look, records came back.
Right.
They were gone. And now all of a sudden the Crosley comes out and you see more records and CDs.
Oh, sure.
I fully believe that at some point there's going to be a book that, if anything, for a brief amount of time, just takes the nation by storm, and everybody's like, I got to get on this comic book thing. And we'll see a second kind of, even if it's just a little bit of a blip. I feel like that's going to happen because, opportunists are all over the place. And if something pops up and proves it can sell, because I think for most companies right now, it's like, nah, that stuff doesn't sell. They're not putting any effort into it. So, I mean,
I know. I think, I don't know. I don't have the answer 100%. But at a certain point, and I think it's happening now, slowly people are starting to see the stuff that they are consuming is lifeless. There's nothing there. It's empty. Like you said the word empty calories. There's nothing there for the brain. That they're not inspired by timeless themes. It doesn't need to be crazy intellectual, but you look at some of the greatest works in the world. The reason they're the greatest works in the world is because they're inspired by classics.
Yep.
They're inspired by real themes that have lasted centuries. Even as far back as, I mean, you could go even biblically speaking. In all of even ancient Greek philosophy, all of these themes that still relate to us and speak to us. When you start putting nonsensical nonsense, it's
perfectly
more,
put.
yeah, it's empty calories. It's empty of creativity. It doesn't speak or move you, and eventually, you're just not going to want it anymore. And I don't know how long that'll take, but this can't sustain itself.
No, I definitely think, I feel like maybe the studios and stuff like that, their only real shot is to become distribution, and then everybody just kind of scatters and does independent stuff, and then they buy and sell that kind of thing, because I feel like the way it is now, especially with the strikes and stuff, and then you talk about like stuff that's better stuff that's still being sold today.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this one tweet from this one author. She's saying, well, how are we expected to sell our stuff when they won't remove the stuff like Lord of the Rings and all that stuff? That's all on the shelves, and we can't compete with that. It's like, there you go. That's the challenge.
Oh, there you go. The bar has been set.
Exactly.
See, like, the problem is... Oh, go ahead, yeah. No, go ahead.
Citizen Ronan says companies don't want to put money into the newbies. Back in the day, would say a music record company would help out an artist grow
100%.
and put a few records out before expecting huge success. I think that's probably because of Tom Petty, especially when he did the lawsuit for like singers' rights and stuff like that. You get somebody really, really big and then they leave, they take everything with them. Companies don't want to do that anymore. Same with comics and stuff. We used to have long runs all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Not anymore. Absolutely. Now they get maybe a trade and then they're done. Paul says, not necessarily a new thing. We fondly remember Lovecraft, Robert Howard, Raymond Chandler today. But in their time, they didn't get nearly the praise they deserve. That's absolutely true.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lovecraft was a weirdo.
Love him. Yeah, no, that's some of the stuff. I have a book on Robert E. Howard, and I always loved Conan the Barbarian, his short stories, those comics. But no, it's something's got to give. I don't know when, but look, I've mentioned this before. I don't know if I said it recently, but even Lucas said many times that Star Wars would not be made today.
Mm-hmm.
The real Star Wars. Let's be clear.
Well, it wasn't. That's true.
But a lot of those films, like, no one wants to take risks anymore, and people don't realize that all the greatest stories, some of them were risks.
I think you get a risk every once in a while. Usually, it comes from independence.
Well, and then, right.
That's, of course. That's bought by a studio. It's huge, and then all the studios have to make those carbon copies of like John Wick or whatever is coming out. Oh, we need a freaking guy that's with a dog that kills a bunch of people. That's and then everybody, or like The Conjuring is another one. Right now, we got all demon movies and horror now. There's not a whole lot of overlap. It's just but I think you say something's got to give. I think it absolutely will. I mean, you as a history teacher know that like there's a big pendulum that happens. You go with like ultra religion, and it kind of swings into less religion, and then that becomes a problem. So it swings back. People start to go like, oh man, I need some boundaries and rules in my life. Same thing with entertainment, right? Like, you get these big, huge blockbusters. People get real bored of that, and they start to want to have like the little human independent type stuff. And then after a while, they go, I'd like an explosion or two.
Well, yeah, I think that's what happens when you have. Well, that's the thing too. When you have creativity, by committee, it's that you take away the vision. Holy mackerel! Did you hear that one?
Yeah,
jump there.
That was a good one. I like that.
That poor cat. I don't know where she is. She must be under the couch or something. Poor girl.
Oh, she not like the thunder. I suppose no
God.
animal.
Every
really
time
does.
she hears that of fireworks, I feel so bad. She like moans. She goes.
She like a lap cat or like a at your feet cat when you're working? No,
not at all.
Get on there and mess with the stuff on your desk.
Oh, forget it. She'll come over and like mess with, like, she wants to drink. So I always have to get the ink away from her because she'll lick it.
Oh.
I'm like, this will kill you.
Where's that toothbrush of yours? I need it.
Yeah, exactly. I have langured Lord Cyphus indeed, Revan. My goodness.
Oh no.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem. The guy's fickle. He's fickle.
Yep.
Well, we've hit our hour.
Wow, what a great chat.
It's such a fast show. Thank you very much for coming on. Chat, replay or otherwise. Like, once again, the links are in the description to go get these books that we've been talking so excitedly about. To go to his channel, which he has all kinds of... You're usually here to watch me draw. Well, digitally, mind you, but he doesn't go digitally. He doesn't do that crap. He sets up that camera, the real camera, and he gets out real inks. And he does like all kinds of great stuff. Yeah. Yes, he has to scrub his hands afterwards. I just have to put this pencil down, go have a snack. But I will say it is a great channel, and whenever I can, I like to make it in to sit and listen and watch, and it's always fun to see him go from you go from nothing to blank page to completely something. And by the way, those sketch cards look great with the
thank you so much.
Like that.
That was a Pete recommendation. I'm grateful that that we were able to pull it off, and I love them. I'll be going live around 8. I need to go make some quick dinner after this.
Yeah,
but I have a sketch cover to do, but it's a front sketch cover. So I'll do that live. It's of Chiron, so someone knew. That's it.
Every drawing's a new one.
That's right.
That's for sure. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for showing up. Thank you again to Rob for coming on here and having a chat with me. Hope you all have a great day. And as usual, we'll see you when you see you next.